Um, as you know, I'm Quinn Alexis, somebody online. He's my interviewing partner, stuff like that. So kind of want to get this started. How did you get the Twitch politics and what made you want to do politics in your own like commentary and stuff like that? How did you get started in all this and what was your reason?
I had a friend, me and my best friend started talking about doing podcasting. Uh, when we decided to do podcasting, he bailed pretty quickly and just never showed up. So it ended up being just me doing it. My name's Tom, so I named it the Tom Foolery Show. And then the podcast blew up. It was doing really well. It was just debating people. The main idea was if I just like hit somebody up, I wanted to learn about other people's ideas. I was pretty far right, kind of like alt-right area. And I wanted to like understand how lefties are so dumb. How do they believe such stupid things that I hear from everybody on the right, about all the SJWs? How could they possibly justify this stuff? So I wanted to talk to lefties. If I just hit somebody up on Facebook and like, hey, you're a lefty, will you come talk to me about your ideas? Nobody's going to be like, yeah, sure. So if I create a show and I'm like, hey, you want to come on my show and talk about this stuff? Then they'll come. So I made the show and I invite people on. We start doing debates. And I start realizing, oh, I'm the one with stupid ideas. I'm the one who's totally wrong and believes stupid stuff. So I start to change my ideas, start getting canceled by the right, and make them really upset. I was growing fairly quickly. Got canceled on Facebook and like reported hardcore. Got 2 strikes. Was about to get banned off Facebook. So that's where I was streaming at the time. So I stopped doing podcasting and eventually moved over to Twitch and kind of tried to rebrand it. Well, not rebrand, but start over on Twitch, and then I got banned from Twitch in about 2 months. So
What was the
yeah.
rebranding process like? What all did you do to change everything?
For the most part, I wanted the people who were in my community from before to know that I disagreed with them. That was the main thing. Is I wanted them to know I thought they were wrong now, and that like those old beliefs about, um, you know, society and minorities and gay people and all of that stuff. I didn't believe that anymore. Now I would consider myself not only not against trans people, but even pro trans and like pro, the concept of gender and things like this. Like I had completely flipped on everything that I believed fairly quickly, and so that was kind of the main thing, was now starting to debate all of the people that I used to agree with, and like let it be known that I think they're wrong now, and I have more than enough information to prove them wrong.
Okay, you said that you were banned on Twitch. Now I know this story, but I figured you probably had some things to say about this one.
Yeah, I there was a conversation about whether or not 22-year-olds who look like 16-year-olds should be allowed to do porn on uh Prime Kai's panel. And there were a bunch of women who were saying, if you're a 22-year-old woman, but you look 16 and you do pornography, you're making pedo porn. And this shouldn't be allowed. This is wrong. It shouldn't be allowed. And I was like, they can do whatever they want. They're 18. Like at that point, they're above age of majority. They can make their own decisions. They're an adult. And so they kept saying that I was defending pedo porn. And so I said, okay, if that's pedo porn, if a 22-year-old doing porn is pedo porn, then I'm pro pedo porn. And within minutes, my entire channel was banned. And that was that.
Do you know who banned you?
So I know that there was a group of moderators from a channel who were following me around, reporting every little thing that I did. And it's weird because I was friends with that content creator, I thought, at least.
Is
But
their
it turns
initials
out
NCC?
their initials are NCC. Yes.
Wild.
I'm glad you know that. I don't really talk about it publicly or mention it because I don't feel like getting into it with her, though. Since then, videos and like out of context clips and things like that have been sent to my bosses to try to get me fired. Thankfully, my bosses are Trumpers, so all I had to do is say it's deranged trans people online trying to cancel me, and they're all like, "Oh, we're not going to be a part of that. We've got your back." So they couldn't get me fired, but yeah, the NCC crew has since, like, all of those moderators left, and a lot of them messaged me and apologized. I didn't know until they messaged me that that's why I got banned, or that they were chasing me around or anything. I had no idea, but yeah, they were the ones who told me that that happened, and yeah.
Did anything change after you were banned from Twitch? Did you change in your content, your attitude towards people, and what kind of happened with that?
Um, I don't know. So, like, I can completely admit my fault in that statement and acknowledge that it makes sense for me to get banned when I say something like that with so little context, for somebody to go off of. But at the same time, no, I didn't change anything. Like, that's just kind of who I am. I don't like, even, I don't know if you saw, I posted a video this morning of me talking about how what convinced me of gender and that trans women are women is the fact that I realized all trans women are dumb and stupid. And that means that they're just like regular women. They're not like men who are smart. They're like women who are dumb. It's like, it's a joke, it's supposed to be funny. I still say stuff like this all the time. If I can't say stuff like this and create content, then I don't want to create content. So they can go ahead and ban me. Not going
That
to change.
That is fair enough. I can respect that. So, like, what kind of like? Hold on, that's another different question. So we kind of have a similar. We had a similar friend group
You're
that we kind of.
clipping a little bit.
Am I? 1 second.
Hmm.
Here, somebody take it while I fix it.
G. Willikers. So Alexa was, I think, going into, you guys seem to have had a similar friend group at that time. Do you still kind of communicate with the same groups of people? Are you still making content with the same people, or have you kind of had to move away from a lot of your old friends after the ban?
Um, so most of the people, yeah, I had to stop talking to, mainly because they couldn't have me on their shows because I was banned, and so there wasn't a way for us to like make content together. A lot of the people in Twitch politics, uh, uh, after I got banned, it was long after, maybe another year after I got banned, that I recognized I had been lied to probably more in that short span of time by those Twitch politics people than I ever have in my entire life. Like the amount of lies from that group of people was just, it was so many lies, so many people just making stuff up, so many people that were very devious um and couldn't tell the truth if somebody paid them to. So I did stop communicating with a lot of those sorts of people. I still like a lot of the same people. I still do content with some of the same people. I currently making a documentary that has like Hans of Harkir, Cherry, Destiny, Vosh, a lot of the same people that I hung out with at the time. But I would say most of the people that I hung out with when I was on Twitch politics, I've stopped talking to since then.
Now, you say that a lot of people were lying to you, like in regards to like what kind of things were people telling you that weren't true?
It was normally small things on a daily basis. Like there's an example of one person where we were in a group, a VC call, and we were talking about Lauren Southern. And I was saying, hey guys, we should reach out to Lauren Southern and like see if she wants to stream on Twitch politics and try to get her to come do an AMA with us. And at the time I was hosting a lot of AMAs in the Twitch politics Discord. And um all of the people in there immediately were like, what? No, she's a Nazi. She's so far right. Like, we don't want her coming over here and trying to sanitize her. And I was like, I don't think we need to sanitize her. I think she's actually sanitized. Like, I think she's moderating a bit. I think her beliefs have changed a bit. I would still say she's fairly far right, but she's not like neo-Nazi far right or alt-right far right. She's just kind of like, she's a little bit farther right than your average Republican. Like, or she just kind of is your average Republican now. And all of them were like disgusted by this. And they're like, I can't believe you just said that. That's exactly why we shouldn't have Lauren Southern in here. People believing what you believe is exactly why we can't sanitize her, blah, blah, blah. Literally like a month later, those same people bring Lauren Southern into the Twitch community, do all the stuff that I was suggesting. And when I came back to them and I'm like, what the hell happened? They're like, oh, we were always on board with this. We've been trying to get Lauren. This was our idea. And we've always wanted her. And it was just like kind of like backstabbing things like that consistently happened where I know they're lying and they know that I know they're lying, but they're going to say it anyways just to save face, or I don't know what it is. There were just things like that were constantly happening just over and over and over where I I could never have a conversation with people and depend on them uh or rely on them remembering that conversation or being like a witness to that conversation or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that one. So, talking about Nazis. So, you've had several run-ins slash interactions with a group called Politically Provoked. How did that come to be, and some of the drama that I know has came between you and Politically Provoked over periods of time?
Man, there's a lot there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked.
Yeah, initially I was invited on. Neil Morai had done a couple of debates on there. And so she told Politically Provoked about me, and she's like, hey, there's this guy, he does debates, he's a debate coach and a rhetoric coach, and he likes to come on stuff like this. Um, And so, wait, I'm sorry, hold on. My chat's freaking out saying, F, we can't hear you. The audio sucks. E- Everything's fine on my side, so I'm sorry. I don't it's yeah, they're okay. There we go. They're saying that your audio is still clipping, but I you're turned up and everything, so you're good. Sorry. Um so yeah, so Neo Morai invites me on. Um or invites me to go meet Brittany and Todd and all of them. We talk. I go onto a panel with Vadim and Big Papa Fascist and a bunch of other people, and we have a great debate. We're all screaming and yelling at each other and heated, and it was a lot of fun. Soon after, I start like being a bit more critical of them and the people that they or the audience that they bring in, and so they start weaponizing that audience and like brigade me, and I have a small community, so it's easy. If I have 10, 15 people in my chat, it's easy to bring like 20, 30 people in and quadruple my chat within seconds and just cause a lot of chaos. And they would do it with sometimes 50, 60 people. Um so we had wars and going back and forth, and I would use a lot of my resources to make things harder on them, and they would make things harder on me. And eventually, like, we all just kind of worked it out. And now that they're banned everywhere and nobody else will work with them, I'm one of the few people who's continued to engage with them and talk to them. And mainly because I don't have a whole lot of options over here on YouTube. Most of the people that I would talk to are on Twitch and can't really talk to me. So the politically provoked is as good as it gets for me, and I'm as good as it gets for them. And so it's turned into a fairly symbiotic relationship.
So yeah, you kind of said that like, you don't have a lot of options. What have you done to kind of make that up for not having as much like much overlay with like other groups and people? Because since Twitch poll is still kind of Twitch poll, even though it's coming to YouTube, what have you kind of done to kind of make up for that and the loss of being able to do certain things without Twitch?
So a lot of my friends that are also small content creators, I will bring them on a lot, and we'll have, lots of conversations. And I know that they're not going to be like, oh, well, if I can't make content off you, then you can't make content off me or something like that. They're all still going to come jump on. Not that the Twitch politics people did that, because when I first got banned, I still ran panels. It's just, it felt like charity. It felt like people were coming onto my show and not streaming it. And so they're doing a panel, but they didn't turn it into content whatsoever. And it felt like charity. I didn't like it. So I just stopped doing panels. I stopped inviting those people on. But most of like my friends, people like Kay Fellows, she was my co-host for a long time. Quibbles Over Coffee is somebody who I've talked to a lot. Critical Canadian. A lot of these people, I still bring them on and I still have conversations with them. People like Politically Provoked are people that I'll be able to engage with. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm talking to other people and I'm able to engage in, have conversations or debates. And so that's what I enjoy the most. Lots of times I end up just reviewing content of another content creator and talking about things that way. But I'd like to eventually find like my own niche where I don't have to depend on anybody else being there in order for my content to be good.
What do you kind of want to do? Like, since like Twitch poll is coming to YouTube, do you have any like ideas of like things that you want to do with future content? Since there are a lot of content creators that are getting banned on Twitch and stuff like that, do you have any plans on kind of capitalizing on that?
I've talked to a lot of people about doing panels. I've talked with a number of people, and I don't think that I'll ever be able to do them consistently like I used to do. I currently, I have a career outside of streaming, and I work 80 to 90 hours a week. Then I'm also working on a documentary and then streaming on top of that. So right now, streaming is like last priority. I don't really have much time for it, and just kind of do it when I can. But eventually, if I could get back to streaming consistently and have consistent times and all of that. I think I would like to get back to doing panels and scheduling debates and moderating those. What I enjoy more than anything is reviewing debates. I work in linguistic marketing that I feel like it doesn't make me a linguist, but I feel like it gives me somewhat of like a better understanding of rhetoric, and especially when you're using linguistics to sell people on things. I feel like it gives you a better understanding of rhetoric and how to break down logic. And so I enjoy doing that more than anything else, because I feel like the dance that happens between two people in a debate is most of it is unseen and not understood during the debate. So I like to break those things down afterwards and kind of pause and explain them and go over them. I watch a lot of other people do this, and I don't feel like they're able to give as much detail as I am most of the time. And so that's where I feel like I excel, and that's something I enjoy doing.
Okay, as an inner nerd, I have to ask about this. So I see the Joker and Iron Man and stuff like that. Is Tom Foolery a big fucking nerd? Is he a big goddamn balded nerd?
I'm gonna disappoint you so badly. I
Oh
am not a
no!
nerd at all. I'm not a nerd whatsoever. So I've like watched like Batman movies. I like The Dark Knight, but I've never like read a comic book or watched like a cartoony version of it. I'll watch the Marvel movies, but I've never like watched any of that stuff. I was more of like a jock in high school and like a prep kind of kid, and so I always like played sports. I had sex with girls, that sort of stuff. So
So disappointing. So very disappointing. I expected so much more from you, Tom.
I'm
There's so many good
sorry.
things about you. Now it's just ruined. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just kidding.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
somebody, do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, you mentioned that you do like sitting and reviewing debates that other people have participated in. Has there been anything recently that you watched that you enjoyed? Any interesting conversations? Any particularly contentious topics that you saw either mishandled or handled well?
I like debates about drama. So I know we call this like the Twitch politics space or the politics community or whatever, but it's not really. It's more of like the debate community. And we'll debate anything. It doesn't have to be politics, it'll be whatever. And I enjoy drama more than anything else, because I think we can get a lot of like ethical disagreements in moral disagreements and those sorts of things, and take a lot away from other people's mistakes. And if we're able to like break down what it is that they're doing wrong, what it is that they're saying incorrectly, how they could have avoided this in the first place. So if we look at like the Destiny and Mr. Girls situation, where Mr. Girls declaring war on his subreddit, and then they ban him from the subreddit, and Mr. Girl gets upset and says, as an orbiter, you should be protecting me and you shouldn't be denigrating me and all of this other stuff. It like that sort of stuff. I enjoy watching that, and yeah, like breaking down what the mistakes are there, what each person's like motivation is, what it is they're trying to get out of it. And I enjoy moderating those sorts of conversations as well. Most of the time when I moderate conversations like that, it's behind the scenes where people don't want it to be on stream, which is good too. I don't mind helping people in that way, but it would be cool if I was able to do it on stream as well, and be able to break those things down and show people like kind of how it's done live.
Very interesting. That actually kind of brings up an interesting point. I wonder if there's a market for debate moderators who are banned on platforms to ensure that content can't ever be redisseminated. It's kind of like a non-disclosure agreement that you kind of get to force everybody into simultaneously.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the reasons why I was pulled into a lot of things, I think, is that I didn't have like an incentive to go blow it up for content. And so people would trust me to keep it to myself, and to be discreet about things, because I wasn't on Twitch, because I don't do content full time, because those sorts of things. I think it gave me an ability to help people in some scenarios that others weren't able to do. So yeah.
Very interesting. You mentioned that you've got quite a bit of experience in the panel space. I'm not sure. It sounds like you've been in the space for at least a couple of years. You're talking about when Lauren Southern kind of first got involved, and I'm not sure how long ago the Twitch ban occurred. But I personally have noticed that there does seem to kind of be a sort of a cycle in the way that these panels work, the topics that get discussed, and the things that people choose to talk about. Um, what do you think it is that makes for a good panel as opposed to something that doesn't really get off the ground or draw interest?
I think Dylan Burns figured this out uh, fairly quickly. He turned the debate panels into WWE, where he understood that it's not the actual debate that matters, but the entertainment aspect and the dramatic aspect to it. That's what people came to watch. If he put on, the greatest panel where it's Destiny and Vosh, and the two of them are going head to head, but they both just have like a calm conversation and are buddy buddy the whole time. Nobody really watches that. There are videos of Destiny and Vosh in person, sitting on couches together, debating each other, and it's just super friendly the whole time, and nobody even knows that those exist because they just weren't that interesting. They didn't get you fired up, they didn't get you interested. So I think messing around with the way that the panels are done. I think Raj, the guy who did the Raj Royale back in the day, he like perfected that as well. He got the biggest names. You didn't have to be smart. You didn't have to be, really well spoken. You just had to be able to come on and start some bullcrap and stand up for yourself, and you would make a good show. And so he would get the audience involved by having them vote people off every round, and then have a winner at the end where it's a last man standing. That sort of stuff I think really gets people interested and makes them feel like they're a part of the panel as well by being able to vote on who stays or who goes. That sort of stuff. When I did panels, I was trying a number of different things to see what we could do differently. So we even tried going the exact opposite direction and saying, "Hey, we're just going to bring on a bunch of people who agree on everything, and then we'll just sit you down and we'll just ask a bunch of questions until there's something contentious there that's actually on a deeper level now, instead of it being a conservative and a liberal that disagree on such a fundamental level that every argument that they have will be so surface level they'll never actually get past any like first principle sorts of arguments." So instead, yeah, we wanted to bring on a bunch of people who thought alike. One of the panels was like Destiny, RGR, Irrelevant, Dylan Burns. Like it was a bunch of people who thought similarly, who believe similar things. Then there was another panel that was like Vosh, Demon Mama, Sock Done Left. Again, just a bunch of people who think similarly to each other, and we would just kind of start to stir the pot and dig deeper and deeper until we would find something contentious, and then we would focus on that for a while instead of having like timed subjects where we say like, okay, this is going to be 15 minutes, and even if you guys start getting into something really interesting and at the end of this 15 minutes we're still moving on to the next topic. Instead of doing that, we wouldn't even have like set topics going into it. We'd just be like, just get in there, sit down, we'll make something exciting happen. And I think I think we were heading in the right direction with that.
Awesome, awesome. It does sound a little bit like you're kind of I don't want to say blackpilled on like the general like mainstream political view on different things, but you are making a documentary. You spend time in this space. You seem to have like energy that you want to put in here to do a thing. Is there some sort of thing that you see the world needs more illumination on, or more information on, or a message that you think people need to know more about, or something in this regard?
No, not at all. I'm not here to save the world. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I enjoy talking to my chat. I enjoy challenging my own ideas. I enjoy challenging other people. Whether I'm on here or not, I'm going to be arguing with people all the time. That's just who I am, and that's who I've always been. I debated my parents nonstop when I was a kid. Like that's just who I am. So I enjoy this sort of content. I enjoy the way people interact in this space a lot. Outside of like, I don't enjoy the aspect that you have to be like bordering on the edge of a lolcow, but not all the way into lolcow territory in order to like be entertaining and fun for people to watch. I don't like that aspect of it. That's a little frustrating. But outside of that, like, yeah, I enjoy debating. I enjoy drama. I enjoy like the types of entertainment that we do in this space. And yeah, I'm here to just have fun and enjoy it as well. Yeah.
As a
Interesting.
as a fellow drama enjoyer, what was like some drama that you covered that you considered like the most entertaining and fun drama to cover? Like, what was one drama that you look upon and go, man, that was fucking crazy, and I fucking loved it.
Do you want me to answer this question?
I do, yeah.
It was yours, actually.
Let's fucking go, baby.
Yeah, it was yours. I felt like rational people were all pretty split on what the outcome was before I started that stream. So when I started that stream, I polled everybody on what they thought their overall outcome or their overall thought process was going to be at the end. And everybody, for the most part, were I think it was like 80% said they thought it was going to be sexual harassment, that was going to be their that was going to be their overall take at the end of this. And we continued polling throughout, and by the end of it, it was like 95% inappropriate, and that was like 2 steps off from sexual harassment. So going over the information in detail the way that I did showed, like, I appreciated the fact that I was able to show that even with the people on there who are attacking you, who are there just to paint you in the worst light possible, having them on stream the entire time and allowing them to voice their concerns, even with that, I was still able to move people pretty dramatically from what their first position was to a more rational and informed position at the end of it. And I really like that.
Base, look, number one as always. It's just how it is. All
That's
right.
how it is, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember watching that video that you did it like the next day after, because like 35 fucking people told me, it's like, hey, this guy, he did a thing. He talked about you. Watch it. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see. It's probably another dude just pedo jacking me. I was like, oh, well, he's pretty rational. So I thought you did a pretty good job with it.
I
So
appreciate it, and I appreciated the message you sent me as well.
yeah,
I think it was Synth and somebody else. That, I believe, is the last time they ever like spoke to me in a friendly manner. Synth has been butthurt ever since that, and just like kind of comes after me like fully unhinged. Sometimes we just recently had a thing with him where I was on stream and speculated as to whether or not he might be autistic. And I was doing it in a very respectful way. And I was doing it to say, hey guys, in this debate that we're reviewing with Synth in it right now, it might be a possibility that he is autistic and could have trouble with this specific topic. And that doesn't mean that he's like incapable of understanding. It means that there might just be a specific way for him to understand it. And so I think like we could be a little bit more patient with him. He took that as me insulting him and calling him autistic and saying he's dumb, and then came onto my platform way later, months later, like kind of, yeah, fairly unhinged, like, you diagnosed me with autism. Why did you diagnose me with autism? It's like, what is happening right now? It was a very strange debate, and so it was one of my favorite debates as well. Yeah.
R.I.P. Bozo. Man, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so My Grooming Allegations was your favorite drama. What was one drama that you wish would have just ended? Like, let's kind of make Calvert, like what's one that you were like, fuck, I hate it, burn this in the fire, let's never speak of this. It was one that was like drama that was too far for tomfoolery.
Hmm. Um, Off the top of my head, without really thinking much about this, I would probably say the NCC drama. Um, she not only burnt a bunch of bridges, but made a lot of other people's lives miserable, spreading false information about people, spreading lies, doing a lot of other things behind the scenes, like trying to get me fired and, crap like that. Like, it wasn't online crap for her. She took this into the real world and went way too hard on a lot of different people. And so most of us actually talked, like everybody, like Dylan Burns, um, Zonia, what was her name? Aristocracy. Like a lot of us had conversations and we're like, yo, let's just stop talking about her. Stop giving her the attention because every time we respond to something she says, she gets more attention from it and she fires back again. And it is just like, it's like if we're here at a 3, she goes up to a 50 immediately. And so, yeah, we all just kind of decided, like, you know what, let's try to just leave this alone for a while and see if it dies down because this is, yeah, it stopped being like drama after a while and started being like a very unhinged and mentally ill person losing it very publicly.
Well, I can hear her uploading files now. So I'll hand this back to somebody. I'm sure you got some questions from that.
Yeah, man, oh man. There's a lot of drama that does tend to circulate around in the Twitch poll space. What do you think? How to say the idea of people's careers kind of being built on inserting themselves in the middle of situations has kind of been an epidemic in like the Twitch poll and the YouTube poll space in general.
Mhm.
Do you think that that's a problem? Do you think that's something that can be fixed, or that it should be fixed, or that it ever could be fixed? Where are you at on that?
Fix people inserting themselves?
Potentially, or like making it so centered around that necessarily. Like this no comment chick situation, their ability to kind of put themselves in the middle of a problem, make a bunch of content off of the problem, and kind of ride that until the next issue comes along. Do you think that's going to be something that keeps going forever and ever, or do you think that the general public kind of falls out of that eventually?
Um, I think that most of us have trusted sources that we go to for a lot of the information on things like this. And Destiny is one of those people that a lot of people go to as a moderate voice in a lot of these scenarios. And they hope that he's going to give it to them straight and be critical of everybody involved, regardless of whether or not he's their friends. When I got banned off Twitch, I was working on a show called Cancel Court where we would do something like this, where we would have like a jury of your peers and, we would pull up all of the evidence and information and everybody would go over it and then come to a conclusion at the end. And hopefully it would be people that are trusted and would be moderate voices on these sorts of things. But I think for the most part, yeah, most people go to some sort of trusted source for these things and listen to their take, and hopefully they give enough evidence and information to convince their audiences of it. Sometimes that trusted source is Destiny, sometimes it's Demon Mama. It depends on who you are. I don't think that I don't think that we can ever like come down on a hard consensus on who's right or wrong in any scenario because it's most of it's going to be up for interpretation. But I think that reasonable people will normally come to the same conclusions, and that's why people like NCC end up fading away into obscurity because reasonable people all came to the same conclusions.
Interesting, interesting. So you think that it kind of just works itself out, the general public does its own thing, and then fan bases kind of swell and shrink, and individual people kind of go in their own directions. Um, you mentioned like this kind of like a court adjudication sort of a show. I know that Twitch doesn't really take a lot of input from the community in a lot of their ban decisions and things like that. Do you think that some sort of a regulating body, like if the Twitch community were to get together and build like a Twitch streamer union of some sort, that would be beneficial to the community?
Um, I I don't know if you're digging at something here, but I after I got banned and because I was like doing a lot of moderating in personal dramas behind the scenes, after the Prime Kai's drama with Katarana, there was a group of us who got together and we gathered all of the, the biggest streamers in Twitch politics. And we just kind of had a meeting and said, hey, there is a process that we could use in the future to handle these sorts of situations behind the scenes if that's what you want. If you want to put it on blast and take it to, Twitter or Twitch and do it on stream, you can do that. You can go through this process first and then take that information and blast it on stream, or you can just use this process to handle everything behind the scenes, and hopefully we'll have like a way of handling it that everybody will be happy with, all parties would be happy with. So we worked on things like that. It kind of fell apart. It's hard to get people to trust that anybody in this space would be able to handle sensitive information like that without weaponizing it. And so it just really made a lot of people nervous that, if they trusted these people with very personal and private information, that those people wouldn't, go and start leaking or start jumping on other people's streams and telling everybody, what happened or something like that. It was just impossible to get people to actually trust one another. And I don't know that it was actually a good idea outside of that anyways. I don't know that I was ever really on board with it whatsoever. I personally headed the thing up and felt like I should because I was so skeptical of it working. And yeah, just the people who ran it we all kind of just it was a lot of work and we all just ended up just fading away from it. But it was completely independent of Twitch. We just wanted people to trust us. There are communities who are already using that exact system. So like the chess community has it uses this system from the same people that we were getting it from. And they seem to be really happy with it, and they believe it works, but they're also not a drama community, and they're not, jumping on stream, putting each other on blast and burning bridges as consistently as we do in the politics scene. So, yeah, it's possible that this is just not the right space for something like that.
Interesting. You mentioned your IRL work a little bit, but then you also mentioned this documentary, and I'm extremely curious what the subject of the documentary is. What's the focus?
So the focus is about Destiny, since he's kind of been around the longest. It's supposed to talk about Twitch politics and kind of the creation of Twitch politics by Destiny, and him building this space and making a space for a bunch of different creators, especially trans people and people on the left, where they all can come and talk amongst each other and have like I don't want to say a safe space, but a space that is for them. And and as he builds this space for them, and they all start to grow off of him and are able to use his community to do other things, those same people turn around and cancel him and deplatform him and slander him and make up lies about him. And so it's really kind of a sad story about, somebody who's very successful building a platform for other people or that other people can use, and kind of getting screwed over in the end.
Awesome. Interesting. So I'm assuming you obviously saw Destiny's manifesto that he put out a while ago, or read through that. Do you have any general thoughts on that? Any major feedback or thoughts on why he might have put that out in the first place at the time that he did?
He's put out a lot of manifestos. Are we talking about the Keffels manifesto?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it was good for him to do that, because I think I saw a lot of people whose minds were changed about Keffels by that. manifesto. I know a lot of people who were kind of like on the fence about the entire thing, or were still, supporting Keffels and just thought she was a little off, but Destiny was definitely the bad guy. And I think Destiny like presented it in a way that said, I can still be the bad guy, but that doesn't mean that she's the good guy. She's the worst bad guy. Like, she is much worse than me as a bad guy. And yeah, I think that the way he presented it was very convincing, and he came with more than enough receipts to prove his point. And I think, yeah, the Keffels, parade, or the Keffels tour kind of got put to a stop, and it seems like she's suffered because of it. So hopefully she doesn't have to suffer and she can make changes instead.
Very interesting. Next one. We've talked a lot about Twitch poll and kind of how it's not necessarily what a lot of people think that it is or expect it to be, and it is kind of a really hard, nebulous concept. I like to ask people all the time, what exactly is it? And like, if I want to ask you, like, if you were to try to describe Twitch poll to a space alien or a boomer, or to someone that has no idea about any of this stuff, how do you think you would go about that? What would you?
Um, I'd probably describe it as the marketplace of ideas actually existing somewhere. Um, it's a place where if you have ideas and you want to put them out there, or you want them challenged, or you want to challenge other people's ideas, this is a place that you can go. You'll find some platform that will put you on, or you'll find a content creator that you'll enjoy listening to and that you'll trust. Um, and there's such a wide variety of people and ideas and uh, mental illnesses that you'll find somebody or something that keeps you here and gets you stuck. And I I think overall I would just describe it like this is the marketplace of ideas actually existing in a specific place.
Very interesting. And then what do you see for potentially the future of Twitch poll, like 10, 20, 30 years from now? Where do you see all of this potentially going in future generations?
I think Twitch poll is going to disappear. The lefties who are on there want um they want an echo chamber, and I think they're going to get it. And I think that most of the content creators that exist around them and feed them, once those disappear, all of those lefties stuck in their echo chamber will start to lose their followers and everybody as well. Like, somebody talked about this the other day, that I think it was Mr. Girl, that in this space specifically, you have to network. In other spaces, you may not. You may be able to exist on your content and your content alone. But in this space, you have to network. It is necessary in order to grow, in order to get, eyes on you from other audiences. And so the people who are still on Twitch and still streaming there and who want that echo chamber, those people still need that networking. They still need other people. They still need contention. They still need somebody to disagree with. They still need, the drama. They still need some sort of entertainment aspect to it. And as soon as everybody that disagrees with them disappears, all of their content will disappear with them. And it seems like, most of those people are going to YouTube. Irrelevant streaming more and more on YouTube. Child Logic streaming more and more on YouTube. Stardust is streaming more and more on YouTube. Destiny, Vosh are full-time on YouTube. I think even Hassan is starting to stream more and more on YouTube. So all of the biggest content creators are all moving over to YouTube, and anybody who doesn't adjust and adapt early on are probably going to end up dying off.
And the political shit show is going to YouTube soon.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, other than Twitch poll becoming YouTube poll, do you think it's just going to continue the status quo, more of the same into the future, just on a different platform?
I think more and more people will start to come in. So we've seen new characters like Mr. Girl, like Lav, Brittany Simon. Like, not so erudite Half-Taj. We've seen a lot of new people and new characters that have different ideas and different ways of doing things come into the space and be fairly successful and be able to engage in create entertainment. And in the end, like, again, that's what most of us are looking for. I don't go to Mr. Girl because I think he's the smartest guy around who can give me the best information, right? I go to him because he's entertaining, because he thinks about things in a different way than I do, and I like to hear different opinions and different aspects and different perspectives from people. But overall, yeah, I think we'll probably get more and more entertaining people. And I think the documentary is something that I'm hoping it's supposed to appeal to people who are not in this space. And it's supposed to kind of explain a lot of things that they wouldn't otherwise understand and make this space more appealing to people. And so, yeah, I think the more we kind of branch out and do things like that, where even more and more Twitch poll people are doing things like video essays and stuff like that. I think the streaming dynamic, I think it looks weird to most people when they go to your stream and you've got a chat flying up and down on one side and this thing pops up over here with Alex Jones screaming something, and it's just like it's a mess and it looks weird and it's not very professional looking. And you could go to Ben Shapiro or somebody like that and see like a nice professional setup and somebody who's got production and who took a lot of people took a lot of time and effort into that content. And I think that we'll probably get more and more people like that with actual money and time put into their content that can make it look pretty and maybe even spruce up the community that we currently exist in.
I have to ask, what's with the bald head?
I lose hair.
So disappointing. All right. What does Tom do in his like real life? What, you have any hobbies and stuff like that you like to do?
What kind of answer were you hoping for with do you want me to be like, I'm actually Lex Luthor in real life?
It was just a joke question. But yeah,
Okay.
what are some hobbies that you do like outside of like politics and online and stuff like that and work?
I play a lot of sports, or I guess I used to play a lot of sports. I rode bikes. I recently haven't had much time for that. I've got 2 fish tanks over there. I've got another fish tank right there. So I like, keeping a variety of types of fish, and I like growing plants in fish tanks and kind of like creating, um, uh, I guess, just a place for things to live. I really enjoy looking at, like fish growing over time, and how much you feed them changes how healthy they are, and how much you change the water and the types of environments you put them in. I enjoy that sort of stuff. I don't play a whole lot of video games anymore. I played some, mostly sports games like NBA 2K, Madden. I was one of the top ranked players in 2K for I think 3, maybe 4 years straight. So yeah, I haven't really done that much, but most of my interests I don't have time for currently. My hope is once I finish that documentary, I will have time to get back to a normal lifestyle. But yeah, currently I don't have time for hobbies. Unfortunately, streaming is my hobby right now.
How long has it taken you to make that, or like how long? Wrong question. How much time have you put into this documentary so far, and what are you expected to put into it in total?
Um, so my producer Sassafras, also my lead moderator here in my chat, is helping me a lot and putting in a lot of time. Zonia, you guys may know, has helped a lot with it as well. If you go to Terminally Online Media, it's a channel on YouTube. There's a trailer there right now for the documentary that as an unlisted VOD was never public, just people, just by word of mouth, has I think maybe 4,000 views without ever like publishing it or anything. Um, the we started this last November when I was on vacation. I was going to Texas and California doing a streaming trip, meeting up with a bunch of other streamers and stuff. Destiny's one of the people that I met up with, and so we went ahead and did an in-person interview with him there. And I believe that was November 10th of last year. And we're still not done with it. So it's an insane amount of hours that have been put in, and I couldn't even begin to try to quantify the amount of hours and time put into this. The amount of time that you have to spend watching Destiny content. I'm sick of the guy. He's one of the last people I want to see most of the time, because I watching his content is now like a job for me, and so it's a bit obnoxious. We interviewed Hans of Harkir, Zonia, um, Cherry, Destiny, Vosh, uh, Dreams, Mind Waves. Um, I think we have a total of 13 interviews. And so that is a lot to dig through, as is 14 years of content from Destiny is a lot to dig through, and to try to take that and turn it into a narrative and into a story that people will be able to follow and will keep them interesting. It's kind of hard. I don't know if you guys know, um, crap, I'm blanking on his name right now. I feel bad. Sourcing support. He created this extension for me. I asked him to create it, and he's a mastermind. He's so smart. Where he created this extension where I can go to somebody's YouTube channel and search their transcripts. So instead of searching for the title of a video or for what's in their description, I can search what they've actually said in the video. So being able to go to Destiny's channel and just type in the word communism, and it pops up with every time he's said communism, in any video that has a transcript, that has saved us so much time and has been so helpful. There's a number of people who have helped with some editing things. There's people who have helped with music. There's people who have helped with a lot of different things. So there's a lot of people volunteering time and in giving us help. So yeah, it just, the amount of work put into this thing has been insane, and I think it's going to be pretty big. My hope right now is that my projection, right, Mr. Girl is one of the people we interview as well. My hope right now is that we're going to have at least 500,000 views, at minimum, with the amount of people, the amount of work put into this, the amount of professionality that I think the documentary exudes. Like I'm hoping that it'll do really well. So yeah.
Do you have a set release date on when it comes?
About 6 months ago.
Oof. So, wow. Okay. So it's kind of just like all in the wind at the moment.
Yeah, and we even have other people that we've interviewed that we're just keeping to ourselves right now. It'll be a surprise. There's bigger people. There's people that you would never think that we'd be able to get for interviews like this. So, and even tomorrow, we might think of somebody else and be like, oh, that would be awesome. Like, one of the parts is like about Gamergate, right? Well, you don't have to be connected to Destiny to be part of this documentary. Let's go find somebody who was like a huge part of Gamergate and get them to come do an interview and describe Gamergate to us, so we can give you like a better picture of what the landscape is like at this time when Destiny's debating right-wingers and, debating about feminism or about trans people or, stuff like that. Like, we're really trying to get like really good people for specific parts of the documentary. And even since then, a lot of things that have happened afterwards we'll sometimes make it to where we have to go get one more interview to explain this part, or to, we don't want a moderator or a narrator, so we want to have like all of it explained through our interviews. And then the hope is that I won't have to be in it at all. I don't want it to look like some project for me to boost myself up. So we're really trying to just like keep everything with just these people explaining everything and giving you the story themselves in their own words. And yeah, the every time we've even thought about having like set dates for specific things to get done, there's just no way for us to know, especially with my work schedule the way it is and the amount of people who started off volunteering and then not showing up and not helping later on. It really just kind of screws with how we're able to schedule things. So we'll get it done eventually, and hopefully eventually it'll pay off. I've put probably about $3,000 to $4,000 into it so far. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that it pays off. Do you
Wow,
guys remember
really,
Doomer
really
Politics
going on.
or Doomer Media? He's somebody that I watched able to take a video about somebody and just do it really well. And as long as you do it really well, he got, I think, 17,000 subscribers off of one video. So I think, like, yeah, as long as we take this project and we just do it really well and we do it, as good as it can possibly be done, then I'll be proud of the project in the end. And I think it'll pay off. Yeah.
What's the estimated runtime of this video? Like, how long are you wanting it to be?
It's a feature-length documentary, so it'll be somewhere from 2 hours to possibly 3 hours. If it gets to 3 hours, we might do 2 parts, but the hope is to keep it all into one video.
That's crazy. Yeah, that'll be really exciting to see when it does hit. I'm really excited for that one. Somebody, do you have any questions? Start from Tom here.
Dadgum. No, I'm extremely excited about this documentary. It sounds like it's going to bring a very interesting perspective to a demographic that really doesn't get a lot of this information. I feel like Twitch poll is like a giant beehive where there's a bunch of buzzing and chaos that goes on the inside of it, and then on the outside, everybody just kind of looks at it and goes, "Wow, that doesn't look like any fun. I'm gonna go over here." And I feel like you're cutting the beehive in half, and you're really showing everybody what happens inside of this whole thing. It's a very honorable effort.
If you hear that there's a documentary like this about Destiny and about Twitch politics, what's something that you would hope to get out of it?
An actual like informational thing on what is Twitch politics and why is it the way it is, and why were these individuals important? Because I think the flaw in a lot of these videos, because there are videos about Destiny, there are a lot of videos about Twitch poll, but I think where people fail is they go, people were mean, and then people did this thing that I didn't like, and they make it really personal. They don't make it about what Twitch poll is. They don't make it about, they make it, I feel this way, and that's all that mattered. So, and what I hope is with all this work is that you make an actual documentary on what these things are and why it's this way, not why you feel this way, but why it is this way. And I think that would be what I would look for, because that's why it turns me off on a lot of these things, because everyone just makes it, I feel this way, because I don't fucking care. I want to know, like, why is it this way?
Yeah, I think most of the time in my own content, I try to give like a very zoomed out take on things and try to like just stick to the facts. Of course, I think that everybody thinks they do that, but I think that's my biggest struggle in content creation, is that I can't put a label on myself and say, "Hey, I'm the conservative guy, come watch me," or "I'm the liberal guy," or "I'm the socialist guy," or any of those things. I can't give you a label to feel connected to and feel like you and I are on the same page. Most of the time when people are going and looking for a content creator, they're looking for somebody to tell them what they already believe is true, not to challenge their ideas. The motto of my show is challenge your thoughts. So the whole idea is that, like, no matter who you are, you're gonna hear some freaking crazy crap on here that you're gonna disagree with, and it's gonna force you to rationalize your own beliefs. And so with the documentary, instead of it being like, oh, we're going to be fair and partial, and so therefore everybody's going to feel like they're represented in this, in that way everybody will like it. I feel like instead it's going to be, this documentary didn't agree with me on everything, therefore it's bad. It got one or two parts wrong that I don't like, or that I feel like this person was right and not that person, and it didn't represent that. That's what I'm most afraid of, but I'm still gonna put it out, hopefully as impartially as we possibly can. There's a lot of propaganda in there that we are purposefully pushing, and a lot of like things that we would hope to convince people of in there, but it's not ideologically driven. I don't believe. I believe most of it is going to be more about like how how we should treat one another, how we should interact with people. I think all of us who exist in this space have the history of Twitch politics kind of looming over us. Like, all of the things that came before really affect the way that the rest of us are able to engage. When I ran panels, anybody who I invited on, their first question is, who else is going to be there? And it wasn't because they wanted to know that somebody with clout was going to be there. It was because they wanted to know somebody that they have beef with was not going to be there. They were more concerned with making sure that not even somebody that they have beef with, but somebody that their friend of a friend has beef with. Because if they're on the same panel as them, that means that maybe they're friends and maybe they hate this other person now. And now it's going to start all of this other crap just because they were in the same vicinity as one another. And so, yeah, crap like that, like, really gets under my skin. And I think that we can hopefully send a message through this that that will explain a lot of what came before all of us now, because the space has grown an insane amount since COVID-19 hit and everybody was stuck in their houses, and lots of people found this space because of that. Destiny getting banned on Twitch has made it to where he has grown exponentially and has just taken off since then, and has really surpassed everybody else that was even around him. Like people like Vosh, there was a point where both of them were competing to, I think, hit 400,000 subscribers at the same time. And now Destiny's somewhere around like 560. He went from 500,000 subscribers to 530 in a couple of hours during the Ms. Kiff drama. He, like, I'm sitting at like 700 subscribers on YouTube. This guy was able to get 30 to 40,000 in a couple of hours. So like, his growth has been insane over the, a short amount of time. And I think that lots of new people coming in probably just really don't understand the dynamics and everything that came before. And so I think that giving like a lore story of how all of this came to be will be educational for people as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm really excited for this one. So do you have any other extra questions for Tom?
The Twitch Illuminati and trying to figure out like who's running this whole thing and what their evil motives actually
He's
are.
gonna figure us out, Tom.
I'm really worried about like this whole thing. They're trying to take over the world, and we need to do something about it. Or maybe just help them. Maybe that's a better idea. Maybe we can help them. Somebody,
we need to get
please
on their side,
give money to Tom. He's making a thing, and he's going to fix it. Watch.
There you go. Well done. Thank you.
No, Tom, I do really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time, answering some of our ridiculous questions, and for doing the work that it sounds like you're doing behind the scenes. It sounds like you're a Twitch firefighter, and I encourage you to continue to help stop the chaos from burning us all down.
Yeah, putting out fires. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. This is a lot of fun. I run 3 channels currently. I got Tom Foolery show where I stream from. I got Nostra Thomas where I upload VODs to and upload debates and everything. Just uploaded. Tomorrow we'll upload my dad just debated Mio the other day on JQ. So that was a lot of fun. And then I've got Terminally Online Media, the initials spelled Tom. So Terminally Online Media is the channel where we're going to be doing documentaries. Where Destiny documentary is just the first one, hopefully among many. We want to do one on Vosh, which he's already agreed to. We've talked to Nick Fuentes about doing one with him. Possibly going to reach out to Richard Spencer, and there's a lot of people, a lot of ideas that we have right now. So hopefully that channel will have a lot of documentaries to come.
Yeah, that'd be really sick. Yeah, and also, like I said, shit show's going to YouTube at some point, and I'm sure I'll be sending you some invites to finally get you on some of these debate panels, because I always need some new bald heads on the thing to play as a skinhead. It'll work out fine.
Awesome.
All right, well, thank you for coming, Tom. It was fun.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good
Everyone,
night.
go follow Tom Foolery on all the things that he just said. So go follow him, go subscribe, give him his money, and somebody online as well. Go follow him, and then join the political shit show. So,
All right.
Thank you for coming, Tom. You were the greatest.
Appreciate it. Later, guys.
Thanks all. Bye now.